Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Sports Cabri. Curious Harry and Arun Foot. Arnava will be with us in just a few moments. Hiren, it's nice that I think we've got everyone back after a while. I know we haven't been able to do it in the past couple of days, but yeah, everyone's here and we can discuss India's probable list. The first list is out, announced by Igor Stimac. The second list should be out soon, so we'll have a holistic view as to what the squad looks like. But yeah, based on the first 26 names, let's have a small discussion. Hiren, yeah, we can start discussing the list one and just to give you uh, a start. The goalkeepers announced are Gurpreet Singh Sandhu and Amrinder Singh. I don't think we needed to know more. I don't think it really matters who's in that third list, right? Because it looks like one of these two will play.
फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल हेलो टू एवरीवन एंड जैसे आपने बोला कि जैसे फर्स्ट लिस्ट में गुरप्रीत सिंह संधू एंड अमरिंदर सिंह है, सो मोस्ट प्रोबेबली उन दोनों में से ही कोई खेलेगा। जो थर्ड गोलकीपर है वो भी कहीं ना कहीं मेरे को लगता है कि डिसाइडेड ही है। आई थिंक मोस्ट प्रोबेबली इट विल बी विशाल केत। गुड इवनिंग बेंजो भाई। बट डेफिनेटली मैं थोड़ा सा मतलब आई वांट टू सी फुटबॉल एचएफ इन द नेशनल टीम सेटअप नाउ। आई थिंक धीरे धीरे उसको अब इंटीग्रेट करना चाहिए। आई थिंक इस तरह के परफॉर्मेंस उन्होंने इस सीजन दी है एंड गोल्डन ग्लोव भी सॉरी गोल्डन ग्लोव नहीं, बेस्ट गोलकीपर का अवार्ड भी वो यहाँ पे उनको मिला है। सो आई थिंक वो डिजर्व करते थे। एंड अमरिंदर की जो आप देखेंगे कि और गुरप्रीत सिंह संधू की भी आप बोलेंगे, ये दोनों की ये सीजन मतलब अगर आप देखेंगे तो उस लेवल की कंसिस्टेंट परफॉर्मेंस नहीं आई है जिस तरह से विशाल केतन फुरबा ने दिखाई है। और विशाल केतन फुटबॉल एचएफ ने ऐसा नहीं कि इसी सीजन अच्छा किया है, लगातार पिछले 2-3 सीजन से आप देखिए कि दोनों की परफॉर्मेंस काफी बेहतरीन आ रही है। तो आई थिंक इट्स टाइम कि हमें यहाँ पे इन दोनों को नेशनल टीम के जो गोलकीपर्स है उसमें यहाँ पे इंटीग्रेट करना चाहिए। विशाल के तो ऑलरेडी यहाँ पे एज अ थर्ड चॉइस गोलकीपर यहाँ पे टीम के साथ जुड़े हुए हैं। बट आई थिंक फुटबॉल एचएमना को लास्ट ईयर आई थिंक मौका मिला था एक बार, बट उस टाइम पे आई थिंक उनको कहीं ना कहीं हेड इंजरी हो गया था, तो उसके चलते फिर उनके रिप्लेसमेंट के तौर पे आई थिंक उस टाइम पे गुरप्रीत को बुलाया गया था। सो उस सेंस में वो कोई ना कहीं अनलकी रहे हैं। बट आई थिंक मेरे को लग रहा था कि शायद यहाँ पे इनको मौका मिल जाए, बट गुरप्रीत सिंह संधू एंड अमरिंदर पाजी को चूज किया गया है। सो थर्ड विल बी विशाल केत। आई डोंट सी फुटबॉल विल गेट अ चांस। अगर वो उनको चांस मिलता है तो फिर आप बोलेंगे कि विशाल केत के साथ थोड़ा सा वो यहाँ पे क्या बोलते कि इनजस्टिस हुआ। सो वो वाला सिनेरियो, बट आई थिंक बोथ डिजर्व टू बी इनटू द नेशनल टीम।
I agree, Hiren. I think both of them have done well, but we've seen this in the past that Igor Stimac inevitably ends up going with the most experienced options, who are Gurpreet and Amrinder, and it is likely that Gurpreet will start these games. Don't you think?
आई थिंक ऑब्वियसली भाई, आई थिंक मतलब वो रोटेशन बेसिस पे होता है या फिर आप जो भी बोले, आई थिंक कौन से बेसिस पे कौन से कीपर को चूज किया जा रहा है अभी तक मेरे को तो समझ में नहीं आया है। टू बी ऑनेस्टली बताओ कि हाँ भाई कि हमें इस मैच में क्या बोलते कि वो बॉल प्लेइंग, वैसे तो बॉल प्लेइंग है भी नहीं, ये तो सिर्फ बोलने की बात है। यहाँ पे हम सारे टर्म से क्या बोलते कि फेक देते हैं कि ये बॉल प्लेइंग ये सारी चीजें, ऐसा कुछ होता नहीं है जनरली। यहाँ पे सिंपल सा फुटबॉल भी सही से खेल ले तो बढ़िया बात है। बट जैसे गुरप्रीत सिंह संधू शॉर्ट स्टॉपिंग उनकी बेहतर है, अमरिंदर का थोड़ा सा बोलते हैं कि वो बॉल के ऊपर अच्छा है, बट दोनों ने अपने लेवल पे यहाँ पे मिस्टेक्स भी की हुई है। सो ऐसा नहीं है कि वो आपको श्योरिटी मिलती है। तो डेफिनेटली फर्स्ट चॉइस विल बी गुरप्रीत सिंह संधू। आई थिंक अगेंस्ट कुवैत अगर हम बात करें जो कि 6 जून को मैच है, उसमें आई एम सीइंग डेफिनेटली ही विल बी द फर्स्ट चॉइस। एंड बाकी आई थिंक उस रिजल्ट के ऊपर डिपेंड करेगा कि कतार के सामने किसको लेके जाए, बट आई थिंक फर्स्ट चॉइस विल बी गुरप्रीत सिंह संधू।
Yep, 100%. It does look like that at the moment. Yeah. Do you think the AFF Youth League schedule is very hectic? Kiran, have you been able to take a look at that? Dress matches is very less, is what Nishant is saying.
AFF यूथ लीग शेड्यूल इज वेरी हेक्टिक, रेस्ट बिटवीन मैचेस। देखिए ये सारे तो प्रॉब्लम है ही है। आई थिंक ये इसके बारे में हमने काफी बार बात भी की है रिगार्डिंग शेड्यूलिंग एंड एवरीथिंग। सो आई थिंक वो सिनारियो तो है, उसमें आई थिंक एक अलग से हम डेफिनेटली एक डिस्कशन रखेंगे, क्योंकि अभी हमारे पास टाइम भी है। तो इस तरह के जो टॉपिक्स है वो भी करना जरूरी है कि भाई इस सीजन का जिस तरह से स्ट्रक्चर था, शेड्यूलिंग था, कौन कौन से पॉजिटिव थे, कौन कौन से नेगेटिव थे, किस तरह से यूथ लीग का जिस तरह से फॉर्मेट रहा, क्या क्या चेंजेस होने चाहिए, तो उसके बारे में डेफिनेटली हम एक बार क्या बोलते हैं डिटेल में डिस्कस करेंगे। बट डेफिनेटली भाई वो उसके बारे में भी सोचना चाहिए जो बोल रहे हैं निशान पे।
Yeah. Um, Playmaker India on Musawa is saying IFTWC was so smart, just made my transfer video irrelevant with Tiri. Arnav always keeps saying it, just wait for the confirmation to come and then let's talk about transfers. Arnav, anything that's very close to getting done, according to you? So it's almost confirmed types.
Um, yeah, very, very good afternoon, first of all, to you guys and everyone who's watching. Well, I think there's certain transfers or certain sort of pre-contracts which have been thrown around at the moment that there might be some, we might be in for some surprises. So that's, let's take it that. And I think the best example was this whole Edmund Lalindika story where, everybody jumped on the ship. And I knew, and the funny one is, this got confirmed in late March. The whole thing got confirmed in late March that he's going for 2 weeks to Atletico Ottawa and he's going to train there, do this, do that, whatever, blah, blah, what is going to happen. And then 3.5, 4 weeks later, someone puts out a tweet saying, "Arey bhai, wo to transfer ho raha hai udhar." And it's like, no, he's not. And secondly, he's going for a training stint. Now, the logic should be Inter Kashi has a technical partnership with Atletico Madrid, and Atletico Ottawa is owned by Atletico Madrid, right? So this is something which we, again, and even Marcus got it wrong in this one, right? So the point is, that's why I do not go into this tweeting or doing videos on this player is going here, this going. I want contract signed, shown, released, done, khatam. Let's say like Martin Chavez got transferred from Churchill to Gokulam Kerala. Gokulam Kerala put out something. As long as, let's say, Brandon Fernandez today was said again that it's confirmed, it's done, blah, blah. It's not done yet, right? Let it be confirmed. I know this craziness. It's, the Fabrizio Romano's, this, that. And I know in Europe, for example, the clubs hate Fabrizio Romano because it makes their job, not only them, but everyone's job tougher. Look at Bayern Munich at the moment. Supposedly, Xabi Alonso will be the next coach. And supposedly they were close. Liverpool were not even in the discussion. The English media said, "Oh, yeah, he's going to Liverpool," right? As a good example. Xabi Alonso then says, "Listen, let me take some time and I then take a decision on this." And then he said, "Listen, I'm staying with Bayer Leverkusen. I think, we've got a project, blah, blah," which I think he's right to do at this moment. Rather than going to Liverpool or to Bayern, potentially going to Real Madrid, you've created a beast. I mean, they won 5-1 at Frankfurt yesterday. Stay there. Then Julian Nagelsmann is the next, donkey to be, paraded around the village and, hit, "Are, chalo, chalo." You go now, enter the door, come back to Bayern Munich. Khatam, tata, bye bye. Now Ralf Rangnick was supposedly done. In the German media, done. He says, "No, what, I'll stay with Austria." And this is, India's becoming like that as well. In the past, and I know that there are agents, there are club officials, there are even players who put out these informations to certain people. Now, I have to be, if I am part of this whole ecosystem of so-called influencers and tweeters and this and that and classic journalists as well, right? I think Marcus is one of the very, very few, is the only classic journalist who actually goes into this business of talking about transfers. You have to be very, very conscious when you are putting out something, especially, it doesn't matter if it's tweet or if it's a video. If it's not confirmed, it's not confirmed. I, for example, have said to friends of mine, Mehdi Talal, let's see if there is a twist in the story still there. Right? So therefore, I'm very, very careful with this whole, with this whole stories. Again, it's Jamie McLaren, supposedly, a few weeks ago, was done in Mumbai City. Khatam, ho gaya. Now, Mohan Bagan. Now, an Australian source has written, listen, there are 12 clubs trying to sign the player. So is it then done? And every day you do something, there is something with this club, that club, Kerala Blasters signed this, that, everything. Yeah. So therefore, the pre-contracts to me are not worth the paper. If there is not a follow-up paper, it's like supposedly Rahul, half of Mumbai City is now signed for BFC. Right?
Yeah, that's what we're hearing.
Yeah. So for me is, okay, if they're going to get 2 or 3, it depends of who would want Mumbai to continue with. That's the first question. Sujay Sharma in the background is working on saying, listen, you know what? Okay, we won the cup, but no, I know Sujay for nearly 2 decades. I know that Sujay more than 2 decades actually. So then Sujay will go there and say, you know what? Nah, this team was not good enough. Let me see what I can do with this. How can I take Mumbai City to the next level? Then he might release some of these players. While BFC might be thinking, hey, these are price signings, for Mumbai City, is like, listen, we need to upgrade. We need to bring in better players, right? The same thought process goes on, I think, at Mohun Bagan Super Giant. They want to compete in ACL too. They're trying to do stuff. And I think something which hasn't been reported so much is the post-match press conference. I think the biggest story of that post-match press conference of Habas is saying, you know what, I'm interested to continue another season. Big news. Very, very limited reporting. Habas has been saying for 3-4 weeks, Are last game, khatam, Tata, bye bye, I'm going. Now says, oh, you know what? You reported wrongly. I might consider it. So you realize in the background, maybe even to the level of a Mr. Goenka, has had conversation with Habas and says, you know what? You're doing so well. Why don't you continue another season? So it is. There's a lot of things, it's like today's crazy news in Germany. Bayern Munich and Man United are supposed to be switching coaches. That's at the moment breaking news over here, right? So it until something is not confirmed, be it a coach or be it a player, it is a rumor. It's where is Sergio Lobera going? Is he leaving Odisha? I don't know. There are talks about it. Supposedly he was joining Mohun Bagan. Someone, two people very, very clear say, Are Mohun Bagan ja rahe, 100%. I said, okay, very interesting. Let's see. Manolo Marquez supposedly leaving Goa. Let's go through the clubs. At least Peter Kratke at the moment is staying, right? Except if someone at City Football Group thinks he needs to go to a bigger club, he's staying for the moment. But everybody else, Manolo has been linked with the Blasters job. Lobera, people think that he will leave Odisha and go to somewhere else. So he will surely be linked to the what has been linked unofficially. That's another one. Then of course Noah Sadui going to Kerala. Interesting. Does Noah Sadui know more because he's liked working with Manolo, right? So again, yes, Parameshwar adding a twist to the tale regarding Lobera. So this summer, and we said, remember Hiren and Rahul, we spoke about it last summer. Ye market bahut crazy hoga and all that stuff. So therefore, to me, as long as there's no official either tweet, video, Instagram post by a club, anything is possible.
Yep, I think that's that on the transfers, because I know you made it clear that let's wait for the official confirmation. We'll get back to our topic at hand, which was India's probable list. We went through the goalkeepers, Amrinder and Gurpreet. Pretty straightforward. I don't think there's anything else that we need.
No.
Really.
So Rahul, I think one clarification needs to be made that this is the
Mhm.
first squad that has been called up by sort of the first list. There will
Yeah.
be a B list
Another.
of
Yeah.
players from Mumbai City and Mohun Bagan being added to the list. So it is very, very likely, because you guys were talking about Vishal Kher at the start when I joined in. It is very, very likely that Vishal and Purva will be called up for it.
Yep.
But the
Yep.
question remains to me is, again, people are talking about the great performances by the keepers. All of them have had terrible howlers in the last few weeks. I know if someone is telling me that Vishal Kher is the standout goalkeeper, even Purva Lachempa, that first goal for Mohun Bagan was a joke.
Yeah. Yeah. Mistake.
I say that about a Mumbai City goalkeeper, and Purva Lachempa has done this now multiple times. Right? So for me, the question is, Gurpreet has been doing his mistakes for a while. Amrinder, who is actually the standout goalkeeper who should be playing? And if I look at those four, then I would have to say international experience, to me at least, counts. Then Gurpreet starts. Sorry. There's no
Yep.
question about that.
Yeah, I think there's a fascination surrounding Lachenpa, at least with regards to his style and the ball playing ability he has. Again, I think we go back to the basics, like you mentioned. I think
We
he
don't
was.
need Rahul, the first mistake is, if we are
Yeah,
talking
you
about
don't.
ball playing and Indian football in one sentence,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that is the first. Sorry, guys, that's the first mistake we're doing. We
Mhm.
have to stick to the basics. If a goalkeeper is a good shot stopper and he's good on the line, that's going to be the question for me. Because let's say against a Kuwait, or especially against a Qatar, I don't need a ball playing goalkeeper. I need a goalkeeper who can stop the ball.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
What Our priorities are wrong. My request to the fans is let's focus on the basics. We are doing the basics wrong at the moment. We lost to Afghanistan because our basics are bad. So in our vocabulary, ball playing, possession, this we forget all of those for the moment. For us against Kuwait, the worst kind of football, but getting a result, a dirty 1-0. That's all what counts theoretically. I know that it would be an implication that Steamers will extend, but that's all what we need to play for at the moment. Everything else is a developmental question, and a developmental question is not something that you do in a national A team. You don't have the time. It doesn't matter if it's Brazil, if it's Argentina, if it's Germany, if it's India, or if it's Japan or a Qatar. It is for a national team. It is always about results and about results. Results. Development is a nice thing to do. Talk about my under 23s, my under 20s, my under 17s. That's development. If I have a B team, development. But my A national team has to be about results. And again, we have not played well over the last 9 months, but we've had one good result against Kuwait that has kept us alive in this qualifiers. So that's where we stand.
Yeah, Vishnuraj Singh, Prabhshukan Gill is the best when it comes to shot stopping in India. I actually, for one, think Gurpreet Singh Sandhu is one of the best shot stoppers. I don't think we have somebody who's as good as him when it comes to shot stopping ability. And also, I think because he's that big and tall, there's a presence in the box which you don't get from other keepers in India. I think it's another important factor that we have to consider as well. But yeah, let's rattle through the defenders as well. Amay Ranawadi, Jay Gupta, Lal Chinunga, Mohammad Hamad, Narendra, Nikhil Pujari, Roshan Singh Nauram. He didn't surprised to see an I League name in there.
नहीं, आई थिंक ये रिपोर्ट तो काफी पहले, मतलब जब हम अफगानिस्तान के सामने मैच लूज किया उसके बाद ही आ गई थी कि नेक्स्ट क्या बोलते कि कैंप में यहाँ पे सम ऑफ द आई लीग प्लेयर्स विल बी कॉल्ड अप. सो एज एक्सपेक्टेड 4 प्लेयर को यहाँ पे कॉल अप किया गया है जिसका आई लीग बेहतरीन सीजन रहा है. बट इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग विल बी कि फाइनल लिस्ट में क्या इसमें से कोई प्लेयर स्कोर में जगह बना पाता है. दैट विल बी द इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग, बिकॉज एक चीज यहाँ पे क्लियर कट है कि इगो स्टिमिच ने तो कोई लाइव आई लीग के मैचेस देखे नहीं है. टीवी में देखना, और टीवी में देखने के लिए फैंस के लिए होता है. कोचिस हमने देखा है ऑल अराउंड द वर्ल्ड कि आपको जो प्लेयर की एबिलिटी या फिर पोटेंशियल है वो आप उसको जब लाइव खेलते हुए दिखोगे तभी पता चल पाएगा, क्योंकि वहां पे न्यूसेंस होते हैं. आपको लाइव में वो नहीं पता, मतलब यहाँ पे क्या बोलते हैं कि ब्रॉडकास्टिंग के थ्रू वो नहीं पता चलता. तो उन्होंने इन प्लेयरों को लाइव तो खेलते हुए देखा नहीं. और उन्होंने एक चीज बोली थी कि मैं महेश कावली की रिपोर्ट के ऊपर यहाँ पे रिलाई करूंगा कि वो यहाँ पे आई लीग को फॉलो करते हैं, वो जो मेरे को प्लेयर रिकमेंड करते हैं उसके ऊपर मैं यहाँ पे डिसीजन लूंगा. सो अब यहाँ पे क्योंकि इनको ट्रेनिंग में बुलाया गया है, सो लेट्स सी यहाँ पे जो 3-4 वीक्स का ट्रेनिंग करेंगे उसके बाद क्या कोई उसमें से ये 4 प्लेयर में से कोई उनको कन्विंस कर पाता है कि हाँ पे ये फाइनल जो 25-26 मेंबर की स्क्वाड होगी यहाँ पे फॉर द 2 मैचेस उसमें जगह बना पाता है. दैट इज आई थिंक इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग. तब हमें यहाँ पे ज्यादा एक्साइट होना चाहिए कि मतलब जो फैंस एक्साइट हो रहे हैं कि आई लीग का प्लेयर, ये मेरे को भी थोड़ा सा ये लगता है कि ये जो फैसिनेशन है कि ये प्लेयर होना चाहिए. आई थिंक जो ये प्लेयर सिलेक्ट होने चाहिए या फिर जो भी प्लेयर सिलेक्ट होने ऐसे होने चाहिए कि जो डिलीवर करके दे, चाहे वो आई लीग से हो, आई लीग 2 से हो, कहीं से भी उठा के लेके आओ. इंडिया के लिए वो खेल रहा है नेशनल टीम में, रिजल्ट आना चाहिए. सिंपल सी बात है. उसने कितना वो एक्सपीरियंस है वो सारी चीजें बाद में. अगर आपने सिलेक्ट किया, आप कन्विंस हो, कोच अगर कन्विंस है कि अगर हाँ भाई ये प्लेयर नेशनल टीम के लिए रेडी है एंड वो अगर डिलीवर करके देता है देन इट्स एवरीथिंग इज ओके. बट अगर वो नहीं होता है देन पहला क्वेश्चन ऑब्वियसली कोच के ऊपर आएगा कि भाई आपकी जो टीम सिलेक्शन है उसमें आपने गलतियां की है, जो कि होता नहीं है बट ठीक है. सो ये वाला सिनारियो है. सो आई थिंक आई लीग प्लेयर्स के रिगार्डिंग मोहम्मद हमाद का बेहतरीन सीजन रहा है. उसका भी जैसे रूमर आ रहा था कि एफसी गोवा उनको यहाँ पे साइन करने वाली. सो एंड आई थिंक रियल कश्मीर के लिए आई थिंक इस सीजन बेहतरीन खेला है. सो वो एक है. नरेंद्र गहलोत का मेरे को थोड़ा सा वो लगा सरप्राइजिंग इन अ वे कि उनका मैं ये नहीं बोलूंगा कि इतना मतलब एक जबरदस्त सीजन यहाँ पे ओडिशा के लिए उस लेवल पे रहा है. सो उनको यहाँ पे बुलाया गया है. लालचुंग नुंगना ने भी स्टार्ट अच्छा किया था ईस्ट बंगाल के लिए. सेकंड हाफ ऑफ द सीजन में उनको भी मैं बोलूंगा कि उनका भी फॉर्म थोड़ा सा डीप हुआ है. सो ये सारे प्लेयर को कंसिडर किया है. ऊपर से अभी मुंबई सिटी एंड मोहन बगान के प्लेयर आएंगे तो इसमें से आधे प्लेयर तो ऐसे ही निकल जाएंगे, क्योंकि 12-13 प्लेयर तो वहीं से मेरे को लगता है कि जो फाइनल 25 मेंबर की स्क्वाड है उसमें ये लोग मतलब मोहन बगान एंड मुंबई सिटी के अगर किसी को इंजरी नहीं है तो मे बी आप मिनिमम 10-12 प्लेयर तो बोल ही सकते हो कि जो कि फाइनल स्क्वाड में जा सकते हैं. सो ये वाला सिनेरियो है. बट गुड टू सी मोहम्मद हमाद इन दी नेशनल टीम.
Yep. Anwa, I think Parmeshwar is saying that he's nice. It's nice to see Roshan back in the mix as well. Any names that you're looking at from this list who can potentially make the final squad apart from the obvious ones in Nikhil Pujari and yeah, I think that he's the only obvious one. So any other name that you're
I
looking
was
at?
about to say that if I look at the defenders, I think Nikhil Pujari is the only one who's not only in that probable list of 23 or 20, 25, 26, depending on what numbers the AFC and FIFA allow. So for me, it's what has been mentioned by people in the chat as well. This is a PR campaign, right? This is a PR campaign, a nice story. Let them be in the camp. Again, of these defenders, yeah, and again, the question is who is actually in form, right? Jay Gupta didn't play well towards the end of the season. Laju Nunga has been struggling for a while. Narendra is one of the reasons why Odisha did not make the final. Roshan, you know, and he's not at the level that he has been in the past. Amar Ranawade, yeah, potentially as an option is certainly there, and Hamad is someone who has impressed in the I League, but again, impressing in the I League for Real Kashmir, mostly also in their home matches in the winter, and then coming to Bhubaneswar and then Kolkata. So therefore, for me, yeah, let's wait and see which of these boys make it. At the moment, defenders, I think it's very difficult. I think one, maybe two out of these, besides Nikhil Pujari, could make the final squad.
Okay, interesting. Then let's go through the midfielders then. Brandon Fernandes, Edmund Larendika, Mahesh Singh, Mohammad Yasir, Nandkumar Sekar, Rahul KP, Suresh Singh Wangjam, and Vibin Monan. Again, you've got an I League name in there. What do you think are the hopes for Edmund Larendika?
आई थिंक उसमें मतलब जैसे जनरली होता ही है हर लिस्ट में कि वो लोग विंगर्स को भी मिडफील्ड में डाल देते हैं, बट हम उसको आई थिंक सेपरेट डिस्कस कर सकते हैं. मिडफील्डर्स की बात करें तो आई थिंक विपिन मोहनन को मौका मिला है, जिसको इससे पहले भी कॉल अप आने वाला था, बट आई थिंक उस टाइम पे वो इंजर्ड हो गए थे. सो आई थिंक उनका ये सीजन एक आप बोल सकते कि ब्रेकआउट इन अ वे कि अच्छा परफॉर्मेंस उन्होंने दिया है. लास्ट सीजन उनको मतलब चांसेस मिल रहे थे, इस सीजन कंटिन्यूअसली उनको चांसेस मिले, बीच में एक इंजरी का भी उनको सेटबैक आया, लेकिन ओवरऑल ही लुक्स गुड. सो आई थिंक अच्छी बात है उनको नेशनल टीम में के लिए आप मतलब कैंप के लिए बुला रहे हो. फाइनल लिस्ट में जगह बना पाएंगे कि नहीं वो तो अभी भी डाउटफुल है. दूसरा एडमंड लालरंदिका के बारे में आपने बोला अटैकिंग मिडफील्डर के रोल पे, आई थिंक ब्रेंडन सहल ये सारे प्लेयर है आपके पास, एंड डेफिनेटली उन्होंने आई लीग में इस बार अच्छा किया है फॉर इंटरकाशी. सो इमरान खान को आपने लास्ट यहाँ पे क्या बोलते हैं अफगानिस्तान वाले क्वालिफायर्स में बुलाया था, तो उनको कंटिन्यू किया है, वहां पे उनको आई थिंक मौका नहीं मिला था. सो वो एक इंटरेस्टिंग है सिनेरियो. देन आई थिंक मोहम्मद यासिर को भी इन लोगों ने बुलाया है. सो मोहम्मद यासिर का मतलब आई थिंक जो उसको लास्ट मैच में इंजरी हुआ था, देन आई थिंक ही माइट बी रिकवर्ड, तभी आई थिंक उनका नाम यहाँ पे इंक्लूड किया गया है. अदर देन दैट आई थिंक सुरेश वांगजाम तो ऑब्वियस मतलब आपके है ही रेगुलर कंटिन्यूएशन में. जिक्सन सिंह का भी आई थिंक फॉर्म थोड़ा सा यहाँ पे जब से वो इंजरी से वापस आए हैं उतने यहाँ पे क्या बोलते कि शार्प एंड उतने इफेक्टिव नहीं दिखे. एंड केरल ब्लास्टर में भी एक आध दो मैचेस में उनको यहाँ पे स्टार्ट भी नहीं मिला था. यहाँ पे उनकी जगह पे आई थिंक फ्रेडी को स्टार्ट करवाया गया था. फ्रेडी एंड विबिन स्टार्टेड इन कपल ऑफ मैचेस. सो वो भी एक इंटरेस्टिंग है कि नेशनल टीम के लिए क्या वो उस तरह की परफॉर्मेंस फिर से रिपीट कर सकते हैं जो उन्होंने पहले दी है पास्ट में. सो आई थिंक देखिए ओवरऑल स्कोर आप हम 26 जरूर डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, मैं एक बात बता देता हूँ, लेकिन ओवरऑल स्कोर में नहीं देख रहा कि जो 25 की जो फाइनल स्कोर है उसमें कोई ऐसा मेरे को ज्यादा सरप्राइजिंग नेम मैं एक्सपेक्ट कर रहा हूँ. आई थिंक मोर ऑफ अ सेम ही आपको जो अफगानिस्तान या फिर एशियन कप में जो स्कोर दिखी है, एक आध दो प्लेयर हियर एंड देयर. आई थिंक अदर देन दैट आई थिंक आपकी मतलब आप देखिए मिडफील्ड में अगर आप लेके जाएंगे तो आपका अभी जिक्सन मेरे को लग रहा है कि श्योर शॉट होगा, सुरेश श्योर शॉट होगा, अपू यार डेफिनेटली अगर इंजरी निकल कुछ नहीं है देन ही विल बी देयर. तो आपके डिफेंसिव एंड मे बी दीपक टांगरी भी आ जाएगा. सो आपके डिफेंसिव मिडफील्डर एंड बाकी जो मिडफील्डर वहां पे शॉर्ट शॉट हो गए. अटैकिंग मिडफील्डर में आपके पास ब्रेंडन आई थिंक जाएगा, सहल हो जाएगा, आपके पास थापा है. सो ये तीन नाम वहां पे हो गए आपके. सो वहां पे मैं ये नहीं देख रहा जैसे एडमंड की बात हो रही है, विपिन की बात हो रही है या फिर बाकी प्लेयरों की. आई डोंट थिंक सो कि वो फाइनल स्कोर में फाइनल कट में जगह बना पाएंगे, बट आई थिंक ओवरऑल ऐसे प्लेयर सिलेक्ट किए गए हैं जो कि मतलब यंगस्टर जो ये विपिन है या फिर एडमंड है जिन्होंने इस सीजन मतलब अच्छा परफॉर्मेंस दिया है.
Yep, fair enough. I know again, a lot of people mentioning Thapa's name. You think I mean, I think he will make it to the squad. It looks likely that he will. But do you think there's a starting place for him?
I think one has to be honest enough that we are talking today on the 6th of May. There's a long camp coming. There are players who are injured, and there are players who are out of form. So again, let the players assemble on the 10th for this first batch. Let the others then join in a few days later. And then we will, I think, get into the nitty gritty of who starts or who doesn't start. Because at the moment, again, if you look at the last few days of football, then you'd say, the India starting 11 will be mainly made up of Mohun Bagan and Mumbai City players, right? I mean, that should be the case with a few exceptions here and there. But a camp is something, you know. Um, get it over the line, and for me is a question that who is really fit. Akash Mishra, for example, I think will be a question mark. You guys have mentioned Mohammad Yasir will be a question mark, even though Mohammad Yasir towards the end looked quite enterprising for FC Goa. So therefore, let's wait and see what happens on that front.
So, guys, the final list of forwards we've got from this list: David Lansanaga, Jitin Madathil. Then you've got Lalin Zwala. Then you've got Parthiv Gogoi, Rahim Ali, and Sunil Chhetri. Hiren, again, a couple of I League names. What do you make of their inclusion?
आई थिंक आई लीग नेम्स में आपने जैसे बोला डेविड एंड लेलेंजोला, जिन्होंने मतलब आइजोल एफसी के लिए बेहतरीन सीजन रहा है, उन दोनों को कॉल अप मिला है, जो कि आई थिंक सबसे अगर आप इंडियन स्ट्राइकर की बात करें तो जबरदस्त दोनों का सीजन रहा है. सो आई थिंक ईगो स्टिमिच का जो एक एक्सक्यूज रहता था रिगार्डिंग कि स्ट्राइकर नहीं है, सो आई थिंक फाइनली उन्होंने गेम के लिए तो एटलीस्ट बुला लिया है. सो दैट्स आई वुड से एक राइट मतलब क्या बोलते पॉजिटिव स्टेप इन अ वे कि आपको मतलब जबकि जो सॉल्यूशन है वो आपको ढूंढना ही पड़ेगा इवेंचुअली, क्योंकि आपको पता है कि आईएसएल में नहीं मौका मिल रहा, तो आपको बाकी प्लेयर को एक्सप्लोर करना पड़ेगा. तो दैट विल बी इंटरेस्टिंग कि क्या उसमें से कोई जगह बना पाता है. रहीम अली की वापसी हुई है आई थिंक लास्ट फेज ऑफ द आईएसएल सीजन में उन्होंने चेन्नई एफसी के लिए आई थिंक कुछ इम्पैक्टफुल परफॉर्मेंस दी है, सो उनकी वापसी हुई है. देन सुनील छेत्री इज ऑब्वियसली देयर. विंगर्स में आई थिंक नोरेम महेश, नंदा कुमार सिकार, पार्थिव गोगोई एंड जितिन एमएस को भी मौका मिला है, जिनका भी अगर आप नॉर्थ ईस्ट यूनाइटेड के लिए पिछले कुछ मैचेस देखे तो अच्छी परफॉर्मेंस आई है. सो ओवरऑल आई थिंक लुक्स इंप्रेसिव. एंड राहुल केपी का एक मेरे को समझ में नहीं आया, क्योंकि आई डोंट रिमेंबर एनी इम्पैक्टफुल परफॉर्मेंस फ्रॉम हिम इन दिस सीजन फॉर केरला ब्लास्टर्स. आई थिंक मेरे को उनका एक ही चीज याद आता है इस सीजन, अगर आप बोलोगे कि राहुल केपी, तो फॉर मी दैट एशियन गेम्स गोल अगेंस्ट आई थिंक चाइना. अदर देन दैट आई डोंट सी कि राहुल केपी को मेरे को लगता है कि उन्होंने केरला ब्लास्टर प्लेयर सच कोई दिया है, तो उनका मेरे को लगता मतलब मेरे को थोड़ा सा लगा कि उनका सिलेक्शन आई थिंक किस बेसिस पे हुआ. अदर देन दैट आई थिंक बाकी सारे प्लेयर का अच्छा सीजन. पार्थिव गोगोई का भी आप देखें कि स्टार्टिंग उन्होंने अच्छा किया था सीजन का, तो उनको मिला. पंडिता भाई अर्णव भाई बोल रहे कि पंडिता देखिए खुद क्लब के लिए खेला ही नहीं है, और एक वो बोलते कि पंडिता को लाना चाहिए. बंदा खेले तब लाएगा ना कोई. आई थिंक आई डोंट थिंक सो कि पंडिता का केस यहाँ पे कहीं पे भी बनता था कि उनको आप कंसिडर करें. सो आई थिंक इंटरेस्टिंग होगा कि आई लीग में वही जो अभी सर भी बोल रहे थे कि अभी तो 6th ऑफ मई है, सो देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम, एंड ट्रेनिंग में भी किसी को इंजरी हो सकता है. सो देयर विल बी अ कपल ऑफ चेंजेस. आई थिंक फाइनल्स पिक्चर हमें मे बी यहाँ पे मतलब स्टार्टिंग ऑफ द नेक्स्ट मंथ ही पता चल पाएगी.
Yep. Noah, your thoughts on the forwards?
Yeah. I don't know which one of them really deserves to be in the national team.
Okay. Yeah.
Tell me,
Okay.
to do again. I mean, except Sunil, the rest, okay, decent players, but are these players international level players? That's my simple question. Can these players stand their ground against defenders from Kuwait and Qatar? Simple question. And then I have my boys from Mumbai City and from Mohun Bagan. My attacking line is not the question. Right?
Yeah.
And Kumar says Isaac Ralte to me is still too raw. It's too raw. His decision making, Odisha. One of the reasons, some of his decision making in the last few games were not the right ones for me. which just shows that he needs that little bit of experience. And he's learned a lot playing with Diego Mauricio and with Roy Krishna. But if Isaac Ralte utilized the space once or twice properly in that first half against Mohun Bagan, Odisha FC would have been against the final. And Trigger, if you say that these guys are worth to play against Kuwait, okay, then we have really a bigger problem than I thought. Yeah, and Putea, I think that's the one we didn't talk about, the midfielders. Yeah, Putea
Exactly.
didn't make it, right? I mean, that's the more interesting one. I
For,
mean, all these guys who've gotten in, TK, fine, nice. But looking at, for example, if I discuss Ishan Pandita and his non-playing or non-performance, then I have to also talk about Jeekson. You know, if I like it or not, I like Jeekson a lot, but Jeekson has not, after his injury, has not shown the level, you know, it's that he's there where he needs to be, you know, from a physical side of you. And that's why, again, Putea, maybe another Apuya thing. For me, that there is some sort of problem, and that's why he's not been called up. But to me is, again, we have a striker problem. I think, again, Rahim Ali, you know, some of the people will call him Lord Rahim, but he was one of the better ones. And Sunil, guys, I don't pick Sunil Chetri on form. As long as Sunil Chetri is playing and we are in the situation and we are in, Sunil at least makes the squad. Now the question is, can Manvir replicate what he did for Mohun Bagan? Can Changte replicate what he has been doing exceptionally for Mumbai City? And can Vikram replicate what he did, you know, for the national team? If those three do it, that's our front line sorted. And you can play whatever way you want to play, right? You have three players who can inter-switch positions, which is, you know, ideal front line. Manvir, Changte and Vikram at the moment. And then you decide if you want to play Brandon or Sahal behind. At the moment, I would most probably pick Brandon because he looks a little fitter to me. But that's the question. So Sunil, for me, I don't know. Maybe he has to be on the bench.
But sir, biggest question is जो आपने बोला कि ये लोग जो ISL में कर रहे हैं वो नेशनल टीम के लिए क्या कर पाएंगे? That is वो तो उसी दिन उसका कोई आंसर ही नहीं है, क्योंकि वो जब करके दिखाएंगे तभी आप बिलीव कर सकते हो, अदरवाइज
आंसर है. And at the moment the answer is a big no.
No, yes.
If we go back, especially March, and Manvir, my perfect example, Manvir, Mohun Bagan, before the March window, very, very good. Manvir, after the March window, even better. 2 matches, Manvir, I don't know. And that's the reality, right? So then the question that I have to ask is, and this is what people say, right? You need time with the players and all that kind of stuff, right? I have said no, and I still say no. And my perfect example is Peter Kratky. The guy came in with no knowledge of Indian football a few months ago, right? He won the ISL Cup. He could have actually won the double with a little bit of more luck. You know? So that's why we have an issue with Igor Stimac, and I've said it, and we still have a problem, you know? But the AFF is not touching it. The executive committee is not touching it. The technical committee is not touching it. And we've been put into the mess. बस खत्म, live with it.
Igor Stimac भाई कितनी बार बोल चुके हैं भाई, सीधा हमने तो भाई काफी बार बोल चुका है, उसमें इसको बार-बार रिपीट करने से कोई चेंज तो नहीं हो रहा ना भाई. तो that is the वो तो मैंने आपको
even when you were partying and celebrating Igor Stimac. Ask Rahul. I was sitting in Bangalore and I was saying that after the SAF win, Stimac is not the right coach. We did not win the SAF Cup because we were the better team. We were lucky, especially in the last 2 matches with penalty shootouts. We are forgetting that in all that hype, and I loved it. I was there at the Kantirava, you know. But it has actually come the way I've been saying that it will come in the end. So the question, how can we change these things around? You know. And again, this 26 player call up, there are some regulars, some players have been kept out, and then there are some, you know, to please people. Do you think, again, and anyone realistically thinking an I-League player can go, an I-League player struggles these days playing in the ISL. So an I-League player will go and play for the national team? You know, players like Isak. I saw Isak in the Kolkata derby. He came in and played for East Bengal, broke his leg. Brilliant 15 minutes in the I League time. But that was 4 years ago. Right? He's 25. David, brilliant CFL, but Eddie Hernandez was playing as the main striker for Mohammedan Sporting, got them promoted. Rinswala, different Aizzol, but an Aizzol player having to go out and then perform elsewhere outside of Mizoram. That's the first question. You know, Mohammed Hamad is a different thing. I think could be interesting to see if he really goes to Goa. You know, that's going to be a real test because Goa is signing a lot of players. You know, it's Akash Sangwan, for example, is signing for them, which again puts pressure on Sandesh and also on Jay Gupta. So therefore, we've got a very, very interesting scenario for these players. And I'm interested to see how these players do because they have to step up. I also told a player recently when I was speaking to him, I said to him, listen, if you guys don't want to play for the coach, why don't you opt out? Why don't you guys make a point? It's happened in other nations. It has happened with the
Exactly.
women's team. But you don't have the guts or whatever else, I'm not going to use those words, to take these tough calls because you think it will be detrimental to your long-term career in the ISL because you're then not a national team player.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
And
Guys,
बाकी नहीं काफी सारे लोग नेक्स्ट कोच के बारे में ये वो बोले उसके लिए भाई पहले एक कोच को तो पहले वो हो जाने दिए उसके बाद ये जो नया कोच का डिस्कशन है वो उसी के बाद हो सकता है भाई स्टार्ट पहले इसका ये ऐसा न्यूज़ तो आने दो कि हाँ भाई ऑफिशियली इट्स बीन सेक्ड और व्हाटएवर तब तक भाई ये डिस्कस करना कि नेक्स्ट कोच ये हो सकते हैं आई थिंक डिडंट मेक एनी पॉइंट
yeah, fair enough.
And that's the most important thing. We can we three can discuss anything. That will not change the world. That's the problem, no? We can discuss. We can say, okay, this needs to happen, that needs to happen, this, blah, blah, whatever. It is, for me, is very, very clear. But the point here is, even the people in the know where the problems are. But again, private conversations at public speak is different. So you need to understand that. I think these are the biggest problems of Indian football. Steamach and the national team are not the biggest problem. You know, if people come out and talk about this, that, everything is good. There is so much of crisis in Indian football at the moment, or Indian sports per se, actually, that we need to actually talk about that. But again, no one is talking about it. Everything is fine. People went and enjoyed, the ISL final, great game, this, that, everything. You know, people are saying, oh, the Bengal football is where it used to be. Listen, guys, Bengal, the clubs are, yes, but where does Bengal football stand? Because of the success of Mohun Bagan, Mohammedan and East Bengal? Where does Indian football stand? We had a great ISL final. And I'm very, very happy that Mumbai City won this game. And they won it in style, I have to say. Going to Kolkata, more than 60,000 fans against you, it was in style. But where does Indian football stand today? That's why the other day I did a video on the topic of saying, what Indian players should be doing. And clubs are now even willing, this summer, clubs are willing to pay players even higher salaries. There is the one or the other player who might go 3, 4, 5 crores. That is our real problem.
I think, sir,
we're fighting over the same players. Sorry.
नहीं वो मैं वही बोल रहा था आज जो मतलब कल जो पीटर केटकी ने इंटरव्यू दिया और आज मैंने अपने वीडियो में वो बोला कि अब देखिए बंदे का वो इंडियन कोचेस एंड प्लेयर दोनों के लिए लागू होता है कि बंदे का जो स्ट्रगल रहा है और जिस तरह से उसने अपने आप को प्रूव किया है कहाँ आप दिखा दीजिए मेरे को इंडियन कोच या फिर इंडियन प्लेयर की जिसने यहाँ पे आउटसाइड इंडिया जाके जहाँ पे एक्चुअल में फुटबॉल चैलेंजिंग होता है वहां पे जाके अपने आप को प्रूव करने की कोशिश या फिर आप देखिए पीटर केटकी ने अंडर 6 से स्टार्ट किया भाई अंडर 6 से बंदा चेक रिपब्लिक से ऑस्ट्रेलिया आया और अंडर 6 से बंदे ने स्टार्ट किया एक इंडियन कोच फॉर्मर इंडियन प्लेयर आप बता दीजिए यहाँ पे क्या फिर इंडियन एट दी प्लेयर खेल रहा है कि जो अपने आप को जाके वहां पे प्रूव करके यहाँ पे वो करना चाहता है एवरीवन इज
I know one and that's Randy.
Yes.
He started with grassroots, but he started his own academy. He coached all the teams at youth level, and then under 17 mein jeeta, and then of course in between East Bengal mein, and then BFC and all that kind of stuff. But that see, Hiren, that desire needs to be there. For us also,
Exactly.
you know, and what I like about Kratky is that he's willing to take risks. You
This.
know, and you saw in the Shield final, it backfired. He took some risk, it backfired. But he took some risks against Goa. The team were the first leg was done. Yeah,
Done.
he was playing suddenly with 10 Indians. He takes off Tiri and UEFA and they win it, right? In the final, Mumbai City go all out and play, that is something which is very very positive. Proactiveness for me is very very important. I think in coaching that you're willing to take risks. So a lot of these coaches, you know what, are moaning, ye nahi hai, wo nahi hai, ye nahi. Are bhai, then go somewhere else. No one is forcing you. Your salary is so high. Be happy with it. I try and change the system from within.
वही वही सर आई थिंक जो आपने ये लास्ट स्टेटमेंट बोला ना, वही वही इंडियन फुटबॉल में हो चुका है। सैलरी इन लोगों का इतना हाई हो चुका है, जैसे आप बोल रहे हो कि अभी इस सीजन और भी ज्यादा पैसा प्लेयरों को मिलने वाला है। दे आर इन यू कैन से कि आप इंडिया में नहीं बोलते कि जो सरकारी जॉब आपको मिल गई एक बार, गवर्नमेंट जॉब, फिर आप काम करो ना करो, आपका लाइफ सेट है। सो वही सिनारियो यहाँ पे प्लेयर एंड कोचेस के लिए। प्लेयर को भी पता है अपने को कि भाई आईएसएल में पैसा कमा के फिर बाद में लाइसेंस तो ऐसे ही मतलब मिल जाते हैं, कोचिंग का लाइसेंस ले लेंगे, उसमें पैसा छापेगा, अपना लाइफ सेट है। किसी को यहाँ पे जो आप मतलब फुटबॉल में एक्चुअली मतलब क्या बोलते हैं, जो लेवल है बाहर का, वहां पे पहुंचने की किसी में वो डिजायर नहीं है। अब बस यहाँ पे इंडिया में बेस्ट बन के बस बात खत्म। बट
And
इंडिया
the
में जो
other
बेस्ट बने
point,
वो
other
लेवल पे,
point is,
वो वर्ल्ड लेवल पे आप क्या बोलते हैं कि टॉप 100 में भी नहीं आते।
no. For me, is for example, I take a good example. Drigger saying in 4 weeks camp, he'll pick his favorites and all that. The question is not who Igor Stimac is picking. It doesn't make a difference. If he drops his favorites, and do you think there are better players out there waiting who are not being picked? Putea again is one player potentially could get it, but would Putea be a changing player? Suddenly would be the best in Asia? No, we would not. We have a quality issue as well. We have a coach issue. I think Peter Kratky has shown with the team what what he can get out of the others. But the players that people were demanding in September, October, Parthiv Gogoi and Jay Gupta. Let's talk about these two guys and their seasons. Do they deserve to be in the national team? And I say honestly no. But do we have alternatives? Most probably no. That is a real problem. We don't have players. That's why it's important that players like Vikram, right? Why does he stand out? Because Vikram has proven and shown himself. He was under 16, under 19 captain. He's shown himself. So therefore, it is give other players a chance. Igor Stimac is easy to say, but will they perform? No, they won't, because they're not in a position to perform. We have a quality problem. This is something I don't like to say that again and again, but that's the reality of where we stand. Right? Otherwise, a 39, 40-year-old Sunil Chhetri would not still be playing at club and at country level. BFC is not playing him because the others, because he's he and the others are better. Has any of the strikers been better than Sunil at BFC? And Sunil didn't have a good season. Where is Shiva Shakti? Oliver Drost came in. Right? These are all realities. So it hurts. But this is that is the reality, is where any coach who is getting 5-10% more out of players, that would be the thing for us that would make a difference. 5-10%. Kratky did that out. He got that out of the players. Just look at the way Jayesh Rane was playing the last few games. Ask Rahul how Jayesh Rane was playing last season. It's a small little thing, right? So that is
Yeah.
what I think. So that's a very very important thing that we need to and that's the reality.
Yep. Yep.
If we like it or not. And therefore, again, Uday puts that FSL stop clubs not promotion to ISL due to financial gain. I pinned my comment. Uday, it is not even FSL who's doing it. Did you see the AFF president's comments?
आज आज भी सर वो रिपोर्ट आ रही थी ना कि मीटिंग शेड्यूल की गई थी उसको, मतलब अभी
There
रिशेड्यूल
are
कर
no
दिया
meetings
गया।
happening, Hiren. That is the real problem.
अच्छा।
What meetings? Where
नहीं
are
ये
decisions being
आज
taken? Who's taking a call? Who's taking a shot on what is has to be done? There's a roadmap in place which you just need to follow. But Indian club football is in such problematic situation where the federation now has to cut down on its cost.
मतलब ये
Like,
आज रिपोर्ट आ रही थी कि एएफएफ ने अपने मतलब मेंबर्स को फाइनल देखने के लिए भी वो अरेंज करने वाले थे। उसके भी पैसे नहीं है।
but Hiren, if that is the reality of the AIFF, you know, uh, um, then the AIFF needs to cut down on its costs.
कॉस्ट।
It is, we are, the AIFF system is subsidizing clubs and all travel, this and that and everything. If you are not in a position to afford to play in a league, it does, you know, if there are no sponsors, let's wake up to that reality. It's not me, it's not you, you know, that's the problem. And because too much these newspaper and water stories, wow, we're talking about 130 crores, and how many thousands are we talking about? That's your problem. That's your problem. Wow, nice. But get your priorities right, guys. That's my only thing. Get your priorities right. Find where the real problems are. You've not even touched on the real problems because you don't bother. You go by, yeah, a story, a story, a story, a story, and you jump from one story to another and don't realize what the real problems are. That's the thing. The FIFA AFC roadmap, Kumar, and I'm one of the authors of it, so I know what's written in it. I know no one can explain me these things. I was part of these conversations. I know what has been discussed. I know where the problems were. Some of your so-called heroes are part of the problems of which persist in Indian football. So certain people who should be simply put into jail because they are destroying Indian football. But you will never discuss it because you don't even know that these people are part of the problem. You
बट
know,
ये सर
those.
जो रोड मैप इन लोगों ने साइन किया, और मतलब इतना कैजुअली प्रेसिडेंट का बोल देना कि एट द मोमेंट पॉसिबल नहीं है। मतलब आपने डिस्कस भी, मतलब क्लब के साथ भी डिस्कस नहीं किया है, आपके जो पार्टनर एफएसडीएल जो लीग कंडक्ट करवाते उसके साथ भी डिस्कस नहीं किया है, ना तो आपकी कोई एएफसी के साथ बात कहीं पे, मतलब इतना कैजुअली बोल देना, मतलब ये तो मतलब आप किस तरह से आप इसको देखते हैं? मतलब
See
इसका
the
इसका कोई मतलब अगर मान लिया कि अगर
the
उन्होंने बोल
the
नहीं उन्होंने
problem.
बोल दिया कि उन्होंने
No,
बोल
but the
दिया कि
problem is there's no communication happening, na, Hiren. There is A
हाँ,
is saying this, B is saying this, C is saying this. Then there's merry-go-round. There is a fight for control of the federation. There's this happening, that happening, and that's the
बट
problem.
सर, बट ये अगर नहीं होता फॉलो, देन एएफसी की ओर से क्या मतलब वो होगा, वो मैं जानना चाहता
I think AFC and FIFA have given up on India at the moment. That's your real problem. They've tried. This end result which we have now is the fault of people within India. That's the real problem. They rather do a country which is willing to change itself, no? They
हूँ।
rather go to, let's say, in Indonesia. You know, they'd rather go to a Vietnam. They don't care about China and India. China's also gone. Since COVID, China is no longer a priority. And you see what the Chinese are doing. They are coming our way rather than going up. China was way ahead of us 5-7 years ago. Way ahead of us. You know? So that's the point. That's the real problem. And there are things which need to be sorted out. Otherwise, football will that's something which is happening, and that needs to be discussed. You know, and this whole discussion about uh, what is real, what is not. Yeah, you have to find solutions to the problems, and we're not working on finding solutions to the problems. We are creating new problems. because no one is willing to talk about the reality and the issues and the problems that are there, which needs to be looked at to take Indian football. And that's gonna, let's see what happens.
Yep, yep. Hey guys, just want to turn the attentions also to the ISL season that's just gone by. I think we will get a lot of time to discuss this throughout the summer because the national team is in action, and I'm sure there will be a lot of talking points for us. Um, Hiren, your thoughts on the ISL season that's just gone by? Of course, I don't think we'll have enough time to do our uh, picks for the best goals, best players, and all that. So we'll keep that for another session. Hiren, but just in terms of the season, if you look at it as a whole, how did you feel about it?
I think in terms of the purely on the basis of entertainment wise, I think compared to last season, I would definitely enjoy much more because there is a last day fight between sealed, last day fight between the top six race and everything, and there are a couple of moments throughout the season. So overall, I think it's a in that sense I would say a nice season. बट बाकी तो हम प्रॉब्लम प्रॉब्लम तो बात करते ही रहते हैं बट ओवरऑल अगर आप उस सेंस में देखेंगे तो मेरे को मजा आया मतलब आई थिंक आई एम एक्साइटेड फॉर द नेक्स्ट सीजन इफ दैट हैपेंस सो वो वाला सिनेरियो है एंड कुछ क्लबों ने यहाँ पे जैसे मोहन बगान मुंबई सिटी जिस तरह से उन्होंने सेकंड हाफ ऑफ द सीजन में कमबैक किया आई थिंक दैट वाज रिमार्केबल केरला ब्लास्टर ने जैसे फर्स्ट हाफ ऑफ द सीजन खेला ओडिशा एफसी एफसी गोवा चेन्नई एफसी का जिस तरह से मतलब आप देखें कि एक टर्न अराउंड हुआ एंड प्लेऑफ में एंट्री बनाई then you have a story of Hyderabad FC struggling with all of the behind the scene financial issue and salaries and जिस तरह से उन्होंने ऑल इंडियन स्क्वाड के साथ खेला then you have a पंजाब एफसी न्यू एंट्रेंट एंड स्टार्टिंग उतना अच्छा मतलब उस रिजल्ट वाइज नहीं रहा परफॉर्मेंस तो डेफिनेटली पुट अप कर रहे थे बट रिजल्ट नहीं मिल रहा था सेकंड हाफ ऑफ द सीजन में उन्होंने भी पिकअप किया देन यू हैव ईस्ट बंगाल स्टोरी दे स्टार्टेड विद द गोल ऑफ आई हर्ड फ्रॉम द सम ऑफ द फैंस दैट वी नीड टू मतलब 5 मैचेस 5 पॉइंट एंड को कैलकुलेशन यहाँ पे रखा था कार्लोस कुदरत ने कि विद दिस मेनी पॉइंट वी कैन रीच इनटू द प्लेऑफ इवेंचुअली दे डिडंट सुपर कप उन्होंने जीता तो उनकी भी एक अलग सी पहली ट्रॉफी मिली क्लब को आफ्टर लॉन्ग टाइम एंड देन आपका क्या बोलते हैं कि नॉर्थ ईस्ट यूनाइटेड आई थिंक लास्ट सीजन जिन्होंने मतलब पिछले 2 सीजन से जिस तरह से वो खेलते आ रहे थे फैंस ने भी गिव अप कर दिया था बट मैनेजमेंट चेंज कोच चेंज एंड देयर इज ए एट द मोमेंट मतलब इस सीजन की परफॉर्मेंस आप बोल सकते हैं कि दे आर ऑन पॉजिटिव डायरेक्शन आई वुड से जिस तरह से परफॉर्मेंस दी सो आई थिंक देयर आर लॉट्स ऑफ मोमेंट जो आप हम डेफिनेटली जैसे आपने बोला कि हम एक सेपरेट वीडियो में डिस्कस करेंगे बट आई एम ओवरऑल आई एम मतलब सेटिस्फाई इन दैट सेंस कि एंटरटेनमेंट वाइज आई थिंक जिस तरह से यहाँ पे रोमांच रहा थ्रिलर टिल द लास्ट मैच डे आई थिंक दैट वाज a great to see.
Anuma, of course, it ended with Mumbai winning the ISL trophy, but season as a whole, when you look at it from a neutral perspective, how do you think it went?
It was exciting in a way. And I go back to the question of, do we need playoffs or not? I think if we didn't have the playoffs, it would have been another boring season to some extent, because you had a lot of teams falling by the wayside by March, in the sense of who were running for the title, right? At the end, there were 3 teams. And then it would have been the rest of the league. TK, if I win or lose, doesn't matter. So therefore, I think the playoffs had its value. And I think that the 16 playoffs, 6 out of 12, make it so interesting that that you had that sort of top 5 race for a certain period of time, which then became 3 and 2 in the end. The same can be said about 6 teams fighting for that last spot. But it also raises the question which I was discussing earlier in regard to the standard, and we have to discuss that, because if 5 teams are moving away at the top, the rest of the league is sort of trying to stay in there, and some of the teams have had bad seasons but had an opportunity to get into the playoffs. I mean, Chennai in the end, yes, brilliant, but Chennai for 2/3 of the season, very difficult, right? Let's be honest about that. So it's a mixed thing, because on the other side, to me also, it's very, very clear that you have 2 top teams, Mohun Bagan and Mumbai City, who have moved a little away from the rest. Odisha looked like they could challenge them for certain parts of the season. Goa looked like certain parts of the season, even the Blasters at the start. But then in the end, you realize that these two teams have a certain level and a certain quality, which showed in the end. And that's why they were fighting for the Shield and then also for the ISL Cup. And that is something, yeah, which is very interesting to see that these two teams, Mohun Bagan, of course, on one side, spending a lot of money, Mumbai maybe a little bit smarter in their buys. Who would have thought that, for example, Tiri would become such an important player? I know that certain people said, why is Mumbai bringing in Tiri? He's old, he's rubbish. And, he became very, very important the second that Royston Griffiths left. I said at the beginning, Yoel Fanif, one of the best ball players that this league will see, and he proved it towards the end. Mehdi Talal, what a season by the player, right? I mean, and not only him, but Punjab FC, and I said it at the start. A friend of me was telling me the other day. I said it from the start. If Punjab sort out 2 or 3 things, this team is not bad. You saw Wilmer Jordan coming back. They sorted out. Kiran Limbu was playing at the start. That was another one that was you didn't have it. They took him out. So therefore, Punjab coming in is good. Hiren said Hyderabad. Yes, to me, Hyderabad on one side, great to see those Indian players play, but it's a disaster what's been happening off the field. It is bad for Indian football, what was happening or what is happening. And that's something again, which is indirectly replicated to what happened in the I League to Trau and to Niroka, who got relegated, right? With their, but that was not by the clubs, but rather because of the problems in Manipur. So therefore, these are also realities of Indian club football where we need to decide and discuss, we are expanding the leagues. Is that really the way forward? Right? Is India ready? And therefore, and to me is very, very clear that these conversations are not happening in the system. The conversations need to have, so therefore, let's wait and see. Again, next season we'll see a few changes. I don't know if it's going to be the Super Cup or the Federation Cup, which will be played hopefully like an FA Cup format, a one-leg FA Cup, hopefully, so that we clear the season also. Rahul and I had a lot of conversations at the start of the season. That September is going to be the messy month, and that September was a mess. With all that Asian Games and World FIFA window, under 23 qualifiers, and and we need to find those solutions. Again, entertaining. We are, it's being mentioned, we are overpaying players, not only the Indians but the foreigners as well. I heard another day a player who is considering of coming to India. I mean, I know his salary which he gets in Europe. He would get his salary times 5 in India, right? And that's happening on a regular basis. And therefore, I don't know how, but there needs to be some sort of control in regard to budget spends as long as there's not more money coming in. Because I think otherwise the gulf between the top and the bottom will increase even further. And that's the question also for an I-League team. If it wants to come into the ISL, it has to fulfill criteria, right? It's not just an Indian thing. I know that clubs here in Germany have declined promotions to a higher level league because they were not unable to fulfill criteria, which is stadium, which is infrastructure, which is financials also, right? So therefore, it's not something which is happening only in an Indian football ecosystem. These are things which happen around the world, and the entry barrier needs to be to a certain level that we ensure that a certain level of financial inputs is put into the league. If you can't spend the money, sorry, it won't happen. It should not happen.
Yep. Yeah, fair enough, guys. I think that's all the time we have for today. Again, thanks everyone in the chat for joining in. Thank you, Hiren and Arnova as well. Guys, please do like and share our video. Subscribe to all the channels. Sports Kabri, Curious Harry, and Arun Foot. Yeah, we'll be back for more. Good night, guys.
Good night. And always like, share, and subscribe.
Yes.